This is Sunday Satsang, June 22nd, 2025. We start off with Bhakti Rasmita Sindhu class. We're on the first division, chapter 2, which is about sadhana bhakti. So Rupa Goswami has listed the 64 limbs of bhakti, and now he's going through and explaining each of the 64 limbs by giving examples of different Puranas which glorify those practices of bhakti. They glorify the practice of bhakti and describe the effect and efficacy and benefit, result of practicing that bhakti. Ultimately, we practice limbs of bhakti simply to please Krishna and Radharani. I mean, basically, to please Krishna. Krishna Kuyena, what is it? Anukuyena Krishna Anushilana. So Rupa Goswami's definition of bhakti is to please Krishna. So pleasing Krishna means pleasing everything and everyone connected with Krishna. He's also pleasing devotees. It also means pleasing Radharani, Gopis, and Balaram, and everyone. But the definition of bhakti and bhav and prema is all focused. The prema vishaya, the object of love, and the object of prema and bhav is Krishna and all his associates. So we're on text 151. Now he's talking about the 35th limb of bhakti, which is called vigyapti, which means he talks about it's basically different kinds of prayers. And Narottam Das Thakur Maharaj has a book called Prarthana. His word Prarthana means praying. And there's different kinds of prayers. There's prayers of Sharanagati, there's prayers of submission, there's prayers of aspiring for some devotional perfection. It's called Siddhi Lalasa, which appear when one comes to the level of Rag Bhakti. Generally, they say Siddhi Lalasa are prayers of someone that can be genuinely spoken when one comes to Baba Bhakti. But it's not forbidden by sadhakas to aspire for perfection. Radha Krishna Pranamor, Viva Kishore. I want to decorate Radharani and Krishna, put sandalwood face on their foreheads, put garlands on their necks. This is a prayer of someone at Baba Bhakti level, or Prema Bhakti. It's called Siddhi Lalasa. But my Guru Maharaj said, Lalasa means hankering at the level of Baba. Because Baba is a type of, is practically perfection. But when one is in Ragmark, his city is his sadhana becomes his city. As a city, the sadhana of Rag Marg is hearing and chanting about Radha Krishna Vrindavan, following a resident of Vrindavan. So that's the perfectional stage. So when one is genuinely practicing Raganuga Bhakti, then one can also chant prayers of Siddhi Lalasa. It's not a black and white. Some people say it's also described by different acharyas. Siddhi Lalasa is only to be sung by those who are Baba Bhaktas. But Rag Marg is based on a type of Baba, type of Raga, passionate attachment to worship Krishna, like a Ragatmika Bhakta who is full of love and praying. So it's okay. It's a very popular song, Narottam Das Thakur, Radha Krishna Pranamor. And it elicits all kinds of feelings. So the first type of prayer he talks about is vigyapti. It's the 35th limb of bhakti. But this 35th limb includes vigyapti sampartanatmika danyabodhika lalasamai. So there's all different kinds of subdivisions of prayers. Prayers of feeling worthless. No one is more sinful than me. I'm more fallen than Jagai Madai. If anyone takes my name, they lose their punya. All these kind of things are there. It's just to increase our humility and our submission. It refers to submission. So let's start with the first one. The category is called Vigapti, which means making prayers to Krishna with words, with heartfelt words. And then he says Rupa Goswami describes 3 different types of expressing oneself to Krishna. One is called prayers, it's called Samprarthan Atmika. One is called admission of incompetence. That's being honest. I really can't do anything. I'm a fool. I'm stupid. I'm a dunce. It's called Dainya Bodhika. It means our bodhika of intelligence is full of humility. Humility and pridelessness. And lalasa mai means composed of, made of, concentrated. Lalasa means aspiration. And even Vishwanath writes in his commentary, lalasa are prayers by someone who has attained Bhava. As Vishwanath is saying, it's not some made-up thing. So some very strict gurus, they prohibit their disciples from chanting Sri Lalasa Bhajan. They say you're just imitating. It's called Anukaran. You're supposed to Anusharan, follow in the footsteps. Where's your Samprarthan Atmika about prayers? Where's your Dainya Bodhika? Immediately we want to jump to Lalasa Mai. So one has to take everything carefully in guidance, under guidance of Guru. Samprarthana are prayers from person. They're done by a person who has not attained Bhava. That's why Vishwa's book is called Prarthana. And in Prarthana, it's not all Lalasa. It's not. There's so many prayers. I'm sinful, I'm full of lust, and this and that. So we skip over all those and just try to get to the dessert. But if you just eat dessert all the time, just eat ice cream, you'll be too healthy. You have to eat the dal and eat the bitter subsies, Kerala and spinach and all this stuff you don't like. Like my mother used to torture me. She said, if you want the ice cream, you have to eat the spinach. Because I would just go right for the dessert. She said, that's the reward. First you have to take a punishment. Anyway, so then he says, he gives an example of prayers, some person. Very interesting. I always remember this prayer when I was on Sankirtan, Los Angeles Airport, 1975 to 1981, 6 years I sold books every day. And I always remember this prayer because our Sankirtan leader told us that our first aid kit, everyone had to carry a first aid kit in their bag. First aid kit is like Band-Aids and betadine and some antibiotic and all these kind of things when you get injured to your body. But first aid kit for a Sankirtan devotee is nectar of devotion. When your heart gets weird and your mind gets crazy, the Sankirtan leader says, sit down, they open the nectar of devotion, the back part with all kinds of lists about Hasya and Madhurya and Sakya and get some rust flowing through your brains and heart and go out and sell books. So Los Angeles Airport is where every movie star comes through there. So it's like, it's Mahanidhi Airport. Mahanidhi, all the hottest singers and movie stars, and they got the money. And we want to get it for Krishna. So it's risky business when you're tackling tigers. So I used to remember this verse all the time, English. Yuvat, this is an example of some prarthana from Padma Puran. Yuvatinam yata yunam cha yuvato yata mano viramate tadvan mano viramatam trai. Just as the minds of young women are attracted to a young man, and the minds of young men are attracted to a young woman, oh Krishna, may my mind be attracted to you. Because I was 24 years old, and I didn't have any gray hair. And my mind was a little attracted to that way, so I said, hey Krishna, please get out of my mind and go in the right direction. Take this book and give me some money. So now the next type of prayer is called Dainya Bodhika. It's the admission of worthlessness. Oh Bhagavan, oh Krishna, there is no one as sinful as I am. There is no one who has committed so many aparadhas as I have committed. What can I say? I am very ashamed to ask you to please remove all these sins and aparadhas. This is an example of lawless samai from Nara Pancharatra. Oh Bhagavan, oh Sri Krishna, these are prayers of longing, aspiration, what you cherish in your heart of hearts. Lalasa Mai Vigyapti. It's the prayer to Vishnu by Narada Muni. Oh Vishnu, you're always with Lakshmi. I'm longing for you to say to me in a deep voice, I'm longing to serve you with a chamara. I want to hear you say, please come here and fan me. So, we're not so much interested in Vishnu, but the idea is this: we might say, oh Krishna Radharani, I'm standing near your flower bed with a chamara in my hand. I'm waiting for you to say, please fan me. Or even give an indication with your eyes or whatever. Lalasa Mai Prarthana does not apply. Oh, this is a note from my guru. I wrote it in my book. Lalasa Mai Prarthana means hankering for some intimate seva of Krishna. Does not apply only to one in Bhava Bhakti, or one who's longing to serve Krishna in the way of his eternal associates, has not yet risen. So, in other words, we read about Rupa Goswami and Savamala, and we read about Vishwanath Chakravarti and Sankalpa Kalpajuna. We read about Raghunath Das Goswami and Vilab Kusumanjali and Savavali. He's doing so many sevas to Radha and Krishna. And so many, all the sevas, each one of them are doing. So they're telling us that that's what they're doing because they want to give shape to our bhajan. They want to give shape to our hankering. Because now we're hankering for all Mayic things. We're hankering for sense enjoyment with our eyes and hands and nose and ears and mouth, etc. So to follow the residents of Vrindavan means to follow Rupa Goswami and Sadhakaru and to pray like he prays and hanker like he prays and have other prayers like Siddhi Lalas, the others. So this is called Raga Bhakti. Jiva Goswami gives, there's another verse here, Lala Samai, verse 156. O lotus-eyed Krishna, well I dance on the bank of the Yamuna, with tears in my eyes while singing Harinam. That sounds good. The Russian house, it's on the bank of the Yamuna. Jiva Goswami's commentary. This appears to be a prayer, some prarthana, of someone who has not yet manifested Bhav, since he's praying for it. Because he's saying when. He's saying kada. So many bhajans say kada. When will I brush your hair? When will I paint your feet? Kada, kada. That means I'm not in that bhav, I'm not in that praying state of consciousness where I'm doing it. When will I do this means when will I have the bhav and praying to be qualified to do it also. So see, Lalasa for Raghunaga Bhakti, we're two ways we're praying. We're praying for the seva, we're praying for the prema to be qualified to have that praying seva. The seva we're hankering for is called praying seva. Just like when we ask anyone, what's the goal of life, what do we say? The goal of our bhajan is to attain the praying seva of Radha and Krishna and the kunjas of Vrindavan. And those kunjas can be in our mind, in Rasi Seva, in Sadhguru, in the Maya Jagat, in the material world. Those kunjas can be in Goloka Vrindavan. If we attain perfection and praying and get our siddha and go to Krishna. We don't care, here or there, but we want that praying seva, Radha Krishna, in our mind, in our reality, wherever our reality finds us. So we don't pray to go back to God, we pray for praying seva, Radha Krishna. In our mental, our Manasi Kunjas, or Kunjas in our mind, or in Vishaka's Kunj in the spiritual world. That's where we're going. That's where we want to be. So he's hankering, when will I have that praying? When will I have that Sindhu Bhav? Who else is hankering? Like, who's teaching this Sri Lala's idea? Who else is teaching this? So turn on that fan. Gopal, turn. Oh, she's going to Top button, top. Sorry. There's no fan there. So, who else is teaching this idea of saying all this hankering for Bhav, experiencing Bhav? Very important person, especially in GSS. Mahaprabhu. Sixth prayer. What is it? Dayanam. When will I be crying? When will my voice choke up? When will my hair stand in? When I chant Hare Krishna. So this is Sri Lalasa. Hankering for Bhav while chanting Hare Krishna. Hankering for experiencing siddhas of Bhav. So Jiva Goswami's commentary on this verse. A prayer filled with longing, expressing Bhav, is also called Lalasa. This is an example called Lalasa Mai. So there's two types of Lalasa. Lalasa Mai and Siddha Lalasa. Siddhi Lalasa. Right on schedule. Gopal! He's proved he's attained Ishta. Every Sunday satsang, after 8.5 minutes, his phone rings. Because he wants us to know that he's attained Siddhi and not turning it off. So respect that. That's an exalted state of mobile consciousness. Mobile chit. Prayers and longings such as this are given to illustrate the topic, but actually they are understood to be examples of Raghunaga Bhakti. There you have it, right from Jiva Goswami's commentary, verse 156. Okay, let's see what else we got here. So that's all about prayers Now the next thing is a very important one, which I think you guys are very expert in this Krishna Bhakti. It's number 37, remember that. You're attaining perfection by number 37. That's number 1. 3 and 7 is 10, 10 is number 1. Tasting food remnants of Krishna. Eating Mahaprasad. Okay. Naivedya Aswado. Naivedya Aswado. So here's the trick with this little, you have to pay attention here because a little confusion on this subject. Because people don't, they get the idea, but they don't get the full, clear understanding of the idea. That's the difference between hearing and studying. So it says, one who always eats outside the inner sanctum of the Thakurji, Krishna Prasad, sprinkled with water, the Charanamrita with Tulsi, achieves the results of 100 billion yagyas. Jiva Goswami's commentary. In the verse it says, Antapuram. Pura means city or place or residence. Anta means inside. In other words, you can't go inside the deity room in Krishna Bhagavan temple and go with a plate and take it off and eat in front of Krishna. But in the temple room you can eat. You ever go to Radharaman temple? And you give a donation, they give you some mati. Or they give you some kuli, or kuli, what's that sweet? The clay thing called?
Kullad.
What's it called?
Kullad, the clay thing.
Yeah.
Kullad.
Cooler.
Kullad.
Kulagya.
Dot. Kullad.
Kullad. K-U-L-H-A-D.
Kullad.
Yes.
It's a sweet. And you put your finger in. Anyway. So then people get it. They get that. So the pujaris often give Mahaprasad to the devotees from the temple in the altar. Then the devotees run outside, hide behind a tree and eat it. So they think you're not supposed to eat in front of the deity. And so if someone's eating, some other smart guy like temple commander who knows nothing. Hey, don't eat in front of the Thakurji. Don't eat in front of the deities, that's aparad. They know all about the aparad, so they don't know anything about Bhakti Sadhana. They know everything that's not an aparad, but they don't know anything about Bhakti Sadhana. This is aparad, that's everything's aparad. They know a big book. But the Bhakti Rasa said Krishna likes it when you take Mahaprasad in front of him. Ever hear Guru Vastakam? Chatur Vidya Sri Bhagavan. Then how's it go? So when devotees are relishing prasad, the Guru is very happy. In fact, he puts it in their mouth. Sometimes the Guru takes prasad and puts it in the mouth and goes, eat this, you jerk. They go, oh. Because when you get food like that from the Guru, you have to eat your false ego also. That's a undigestible thing. It's very hard to digest your false ego. Or let's put it this way. It's very hard to digest one's false ego. Your means me. I can't say you. It's very difficult to digest our false ego. So when the Guru says, no, we resist. Our false ego says, I can't eat this. Just like we had, like that, I can't help myself. So we did this Vishnu Panchaka bread. Some of you know what's coming now. Vishnu Panchaka bread is 5 days after Kartik. If you start Chaturmasya and Ekadasi, you end Chaturmasya and Uttana and Ekadasi, which is the Ekadasi in Kartik. Usually, many people end on Purnima, but some people go Ekadasi to Ekadasi. Then from that Ekadasi, Uttan Ekadasi, to Kartik Purnima, you can observe a Vrat called Bija Panchaka. One of the days of Bija Panchaka, after sunrise, you eat cow dung. And then after sunset, then you eat falahar. You eat like boiled potatoes. You can have cooked food, boiled potatoes. That's really exciting. And and boiled green papaya and pumpkin, with a little ghee and salt and pepper and ginger. That's it. So people do this bread. So one time a group of devotees was doing that bread here in this ashram, and we all met in the morning after sunrise to take the cow dung. So you have to get cow dung that doesn't hit the ground. You have to get it
In the hand.
in the air. You have to be there at the right time, the right place. This is called an extra arrangement of accommodation and pantra. Time, place, and person. So we sent some very humble devotee out for this seva. So he went to the nearest cow department and came back with the necessary cow dung. So we made tiny little balls of cow dung, very small, like as big as a mung dal, green mung dal. And we took it, threw it in the back of our throat and swallowed. But one guy wasn't here, he was sleeping upstairs. So we made a big ball, like a golf ball, of cow dung, or maybe a little bigger even. And we put it on a plate and we called him and said, "Come for your breakfast." The sun is risen, so they have to take your cow dung. This is the day to take cow dung. One day you take cow urine, one day you take cow dung, next day you take cow milk, and the next day you take dahi, and then you take ghee, and then you break the fast with sweet rice on Purnima. That's the long-awaited day. So this was day 2 of Vishnuvancha, cow dung, ecstasy. So the person came downstairs and we said, "Oh, you're late. You missed it. We all took out." "Oh, I missed." "No, we saved some for you." Here it is. Yeah, a nice plate. That's really big. "You all ate this?" "Yeah." He said, I said, "Here's some water, wash it down." So it was quite a sight to watch. Then when he was done, then we told, actually, I took a mung dal, because show him a green mung dal. I said, "How did you like that?" He said, "Well, it's a little hard to get down." But I finished it. I said, "Very good. Now this is what we ate." And he said, "That's not fair." I said, "You were late." What can I say? Devotees like to joke around. So, Jiva Goswami's commentary, he says, the real meaning is one should go out of the inner antapuram, the deity room, and take the prasad. The Vishwanath, because it says in the verse they quoted, "Puerto Murari, which means you should not take in front of Krishna, which means inside the altar. Krishna makes a commentary. Regular eating is not forbidden in front of the deity. So even in front of the deity you can take some Naivedya. Naivedya says Naivedya swara. Swara means eat. Naivedya means a little bit. Doesn't mean like chop and go. A little bit of prasad you can take. And then he says, the next verse, 38, is taking Krishna Charamrita. And then he talks about touching the deities. So one who has taken Diksha as the adhikar to touch the Murti of Krishna. Shri Murti Sparshana. He said, he quotes a verse from Vishnu Dharmottara. This is the 40th limb of Bhakti. He talks about smelling flowers, smelling malas. There's also seva. All these are different types of seva. 40th seva is touching Thakurji. If one touches Krishna, he gets free from all his sins and attains all his desires. Sarvakam kaman avapnuyati. So I remember I read this at the time I was doing deity worship in Berkeley, California. In 1977 to 81, I was shifted from LA to Berkeley and continued selling books. I was saying Puja Radha Krishna in the morning. I remember that it said that I read this next devotion. You touch the deity, all your desires will be fulfilled. So I used to touch Radha and Krishna every day and bathe them and dress them. I used to say, my desire, I used to talk to him. That's the time to talk to Krishna. I said, I want to go to Vrindavan. I want to live in Vrindavan and attain prema and be with you forever. That's what I said. But it took a while to get response. It took 10 years. 10 years later, I got to Vrindavan at least, by their mercy. So this is the 41st limb of devotion is Sri Murti Darshana, to see Thakurji. Now this is a little interesting. This verse is from Varaha Purana, but he could have, Rupa Goswami could have chosen any particular verse from any Purana to glorify the devotional limb of taking darshan of the Murti of Krishna. But he spoke of one that talks about Govinda in Vrindavan. Vrindavane tu Govindam ye pashanti vasundare nate yama param yanti punya kritam gatim. Because Rupa Goswami established the deity of Govindaji in Vrindavan. So he said, oh Vasundari. Vasundari, Dari means holding, and Vasu means residence. So there's a guest house down the road called Vasundara. Is it called? Vasundara. So that place is holding people. Vas means residence, people living there. And Dara, so it's named for earth. Vasundara is named for earth planet. So this verse is spoken by Varahadev to Bhumi. Varahadev came and picked up Mother Bhumi from the bottom of the Patal to about the Govardhak Ocean and held her above the waters of devastation. And he spoke to her. He said, anyone who sees Govinda in Vrindavan doesn't go to Yamaraj, but achieves pure bhakti. So Jiva Goswami's commentary. Jiva Jiva Goswami's guru was Rupa Goswami. And Jiva Goswami understood the heart of his guru. So the genuine disciple knows the heart of the guru. So his commentary is very interesting. Jiva Goswami said, speaking the glories of seeing the Murti, and speaking of all forms of Murti, the author, overcome by ecstasy, glorifies seeing Govinda. You got it? See a connection? Yeah. The author is Rupa Goswami. He said, overcome by increasing devotion means overcome by bhav, ecstasy. So he was overcome by bhav. He was singing of Govinda. He was crying when he wrote this verse. Because one of the symptoms of bhav is crying. Vishwa's commentary. Rupa Goswami explains the chief result of off limbs of bhakti is to become attracted to the form of Krishna and being filled with bhav. And then he says 42nd limb is seeing the artik of the Lord. Do you see the artik of Krishna? That's why people come and wait to see artik. They wait for the artik. It burns up 10 million sins. How many do you have? I have 9 million. And killing Brahmins. And 10 million sins committed in the past. And to be committed in the future. So seeing artik of Krishna covers everything. Past, present, and future. So it's trying to encourage you to stay for artik. A lot of people run away with their artik. This is how you're supposed to see Krishna. Puja Darshanam. It says, one should see Krishna with love, with bhakti, shraddha, and bliss. Bhakti, pashyat bhakti to hari, shraddhaya moda manas. The mind should be full of moda. Moda means bliss, happiness. And you should see with faith and bhakti. This is how you should take darshan. Okay. Then he talks about hearing, all kinds of verses about hearing. And he talks about chanting. And then verse the 44th limb is Kripa, expecting mercy. So what verse does he quote to support this one? Anyone can guess? 10th canto. No. That's a good one, but that's 3rd canto, I think. The girl is Bhakti is 10th canto. Bhakti is Krishna.
One day on the Wednesday.
No. Brahma. Yeah, keep going. Tateru kampa sisivishvara vajana ivadva kritam vivaga vidvagva uvirila namaste vidvaga jivita yomukti padessadaya. One tolerates all its misery, expecting Krishna's mercy. That's what the verse said. Oh, Brahma prays, O Krishna, one who earnestly and patiently waits for you to bestow your mercy. All the while patiently suffering the reactions of their bad karma, while offering respects with the heart, words, and body, will surely attain you, because you're a rightful claim. The verse that says here, Daya Bhak, you'll inherit the mercy. It's like an inheritance. So Jiva goes with Vishal Sarvari has a very nice commentary. So this is the limit of bhakti, expecting the mercy. When is the mercy train coming? Atma Kritam Vipakam. Vipakam means happiness or suffering that occur during bhakti. And Vishnu explains, the secondary result of bhakti is happiness. The results of aparadhas are suffering. Experiencing both of these results from bhakti, the devotee sees clearly, sees it all as Krishna's mercy. So when I get happiness, it's Krishna's mercy. Like one guru once said, mercy doesn't always mean getting Maharaj. Mercy also means getting sick, getting a stroke, getting a setback, getting misery, getting pain, getting rejection, getting insult, getting offended. It's also mercy. There's false ego has to get slapped around sometimes. Devotees don't go around punching each other, but they do a good punching job with each other's egos. They say, you want to get purified really fast, join an ISKCON temple. So most of you sitting in this room have never lived in an ISKCON temple. You're outsmarted those guys. When you live in this ISKCON temple, you'll get your ego smashed to bits. I did 12 years in this country. I even ran one for 3 years. I got my ego bashed for 9 years. I bashed egos for 3. No, not me. Devotee knows that happiness and distress one is experiencing is only the mercy of Krishna alone. Just like a father sometimes makes his son drink milk, and sometimes he makes him drink neem juice. When he gets malaria or gets jaundice, he has to drink neem juice. And here's a quotation. Krishna gives the mentality of the devotee. I do not know, but Krishna is like a father. He knows what is good and bad for me. Sometimes Krishna embraces and kisses me, and sometimes he slaps me. This is really sweet. But I'm Krishna's devotee. I have no power over all this karma, and no power over time. Krishna alone, by his mercy, makes me experience happiness and distress, and he makes me serve him. Very interesting point. Who's doing service? Krishna.
Krishna, yes.
Krishna makes me serve him, because I really don't want to. I don't really want to get up. It's 4 a.m. I want to sleep. But I'm not really tired. I'm just faking it here in my bed. I can't get up and try to drop it. Krishna, you gonna make me do that? Yeah, get up. Okay, I get up. Krishna makes me experience happiness. Krishna makes me experience distress. And Krishna makes me serve him. If I had my way, I would just eat, and
Sleep.
sleep. Do exercise so I can digest all the food I eat. The only reason I exercise is so I can digest all the overeating I do. That's why I exercise. If I can digest my food and exercise, I need to eat. Krishna's commentary is very nice, it's very extensive. This is devotee, speaking about devotee. Devotee reveals oneself daily to Krishna. Devotee offers respects to Krishna with mind, words, and body. Devotee passes their life while not being unduly tormented. By passing life like this, the devotee becomes the rightful claimant of liberation from samsara, which is a secondary effect, and the primary effect is he gets the seva, the pada of Krishna's feet. That's why it says, verse says, Bhakti Pade Sadayabhak. Dayabhak means inheritance. Daya means compassion, bhak means a donation, means inheritance. Your father dies, he leaves you money. So the inheritance, Mukti Pade means the place of Vishnu, means going to the spiritual world. Vishnu breaks up into two things. You get Mukti, you inherit Mukti, inherit Pade. Pada means Pada Sevana, the service of Krishna lotus feet. Mukti means liberation from samsara. Like I said yesterday, there's two kinds of Mukti. Remember? This is what's indicated by this verse. Mukti Pade means, one kind of Mukti means liberation from the material body and lower karma and the material world. The other kind of Mukti means entering Goloka Vrindavan. Liberation is called Sloka Mukti, going to Goloka Vrindavan. So he's explaining this is it. He gets the analogy, just by, if one stays alive, if a son or daughter stays alive, what do they get?
Inheritance.
They get the inheritance of their father. So Jiva goes, so Vishnu is saying, just stay alive in bhakti. You may be half dead, but you're half alive. You're in Maya most of the time, but when you're not in Maya, you're going to get the inheritance. So hopefully when you die, you're alive. They get the inheritance. Krishna said, just like staying alive is the cause for a child to receive inheritance of his parents, so a devotee remaining alive in the world with steadiness and bhakti is the cause to get free from samsara and the eternal service of Krishna. That's really cool. I really like that commentary of Krishna. Okay, now we'll get into the rest of this stuff next week. Get too late. Okay, Jai Jai Sri Radhe.